That was Ruthie Ann Miles singing Something Wonderful in Broadway's revival of The King and I. The show is getting critical acclaim, and Miles won the Tony for her performance. Tonight, she sits down with us to talk about how a young woman from Hawaii ends up on Broadway.
I thought I'd be a music teacher. I thought the biggest successful picture that I could dream for myself was being a band conductor or an orchestra conductor, being a music teacher.
What did you know about Broadway when you were growing up?
Not much, not much. I saw 2 national tours that came through Hawaii. And of course, I loved everything about it, telling stories with music, like big, lush music orchestra, you know. But that was it for me. I didn't ever think that it was something that I would do or ever dream for myself.
He will not always say.
What has it been like for you to play Lady Jang in The King and I on Broadway? What did it mean to you?
It's emotional for me still. It's a really heartbreaking story, I think, for this woman to have such passion and such a big heart and love for her husband, but being in the kind of culture where it's a submissive culture, and she can't actually say anything she wants to say or express how she feels to him or to other people. And she's been given this title of head wife, and so she's in charge, and so she's got this idea of what leadership is like and how she has to portray herself. So it's torn, because Ruthie is a very emotional person, and Ruthie is very expressive with my face and my body, and but that's not Lady Jang. So it's hard, it's a challenge, but it's also very rewarding when people, connect with her and let me know afterwards that they were moved by the story that she was telling. Or
What do they say?
Well, when they say they were weeping through something wonderful, my immediate reaction is, oh, so you love somebody. You love somebody. And you know what it's like to go through that kind of high and low of marriage and love and the conflict, the inner turmoil that can come in all these kinds of love.
Can you talk about the connection to the audience? And are you looking at them? Are you reacting to them?
I learned a very important lesson in the show I did before The King and I, which was Here Lies Love. The audience was a part of the performance. We mixed with them, we touched them, we walked around them, up and down through them. And the lesson that I learned in Here Lies Love was to see the audience, but not really see them. Because if I focus too much about the person that I'm seeing in front of me, I lose my lines. I forget who I am. I forget, Ruthie starts to think rather than Imelda. It was so I learned in that show how to navigate looking into people's eyes and seeing them, but not seeing them.
When they laugh, or when they cry, or when they sob in the front row.
Yeah,
it must be hard to block out.
Real Ruthie wants to, you're crying, are you okay? Can I connect with you? What can, how can I help you? But if I start to take on their emotion as Lady Jang, then I'm in the hole.
There's been a big discussion about diversity in Hollywood, and there's also discussion about diversity on Broadway. I know this is an issue that's close to you.
If you look at America, you don't see just one kind of person. There's a whole, it's a huge melting pot. I grew up in Hawaii, the melting pot. I mean, it's beautiful. But especially on the mainland, as we call you guys, especially on the mainland, you look around and I think it's very easy to be sheltered and to think a certain kind of way about certain kinds of people because you don't get to know them as fellow Americans, not as foreigners, but some, people who look like me have been in America just as long as the next person, and we don't have an accent. We don't think of, we're not just the nerds and the nurses and the, so I think it's important to see Asian American people who look like me telling American stories and not Asian stories because of what we look like. We're Americans.
Which is what this role is.
Right. Right, which is what this role is, but I think it's important for writers and directors to
think of you as someone, not as an Asian.
Right.
Not for an Asian
American.
role, just American.
Yeah, because I'm an American.
Why is that so tough? What's the problem? What needs to happen?
It's because of what we look like.
But that doesn't change the story, does it? And that doesn't change the way you communicate and whether or not you're a good actor.
No.
But congratulations.
Thank you.
And much, much success.
Thank you.
Maybe Broadway will change.
Thank you. We hope so.
That's our broadcast. Thank you for watching. I'm John Seigenthaler. Ali Velshie's next.